After emptying hours later, I was there all day. We started in the morning. I was getting out of there at 5. It's just like a real surgical procedure, you know. I had to call my parents and warn them because remember, I hadn't told anybody going into this process. Even the driver did not know. So you can imagine when I came out with band-aids and everything on my head and my head was disfigured. He was like, Allah. He was like, Madam. He just opened the door. I couldn't talk. I didn't feel like explaining anything. I was like, I want to go home. That's it. So he read into the tone. He just drove me home. He treated me like a fragile object. He was so concerned. I could see it in his eyes. But I was not in any shape or form to start explaining anything. But one thing I did do before I entered the car, I called my parents and I was like, I'm coming home. I am coming home and I do not look the way I left this morning. Guy! That's my mom. Karike! You know, I was just like, Mom, I just don't look the same and I'm not sending you photos so that I just don't look the same. This is what I did today. And this is what I need. And I don't need to be grilled when I get home, please. So she was like, okay, pass. Okay, come. I got home. The first person to see me was my dad. Did you get in an accident? It's not funny, but it was funny. I mean, I was just feeling like, oh, get me to the bed. But my dad, actually, that was the first laugh I had that whole day. You know, I laughed so hard because I couldn't even explain to him. And I was like, I can't talk, please, you know. But and then he just stood there and he just tilted his head to the side, like. And then Redempta, the house help, she she came and was freaked out. You know, she started screaming because I had not told anyone. You know, I think it wasn't fair, that part, like, you know. But hey, if you want me in your life, you're gonna have to live with some of that sometimes, you know. So anyway, so she's very like nurturing. So she just grabbed all my things and she's like, where do I, let's go, where do I take you? Like she just wanted to get into nurse mode. She just really caring. And of course, her and my mom, they were all over it. And in that moment, the first night, it was most uncomfortable. I had to sleep with a travel pillow. I couldn't sleep all the way down because they harvested hair from here to transfer it in the front. So it's my own hair. Right? And they had to get the healthy follicles from the back and transfer them and fill those areas. I could not lay anyway at all. So I had to be held like the way the good old African stools that were like pillows, those ones, that's it. Our ancestors knew what they were doing, right? So I had to sleep like that. It's the most uncomfortable thing. And then you have to, those I think the drip sheets, it's like they use them in hospital. So if you lay there, your blood doesn't go through the sheets, or some people in the US, I've seen people use those for dog mats. If you get a new dog, so it doesn't pee in the house because they have dogs in the house. And yeah, I needed to change that like several times throughout the night, right? It was most uncomfortable, so I'm laying there, taking pills. I was on some medication that I had to take before food, one right after food. I had to be spraying my forehead here, the new, what do they call that? Oh gosh, it skips my mind, it's gonna come. But the new hair, had to be sprayed every 30 minutes. So I had to set my clock, my phone, every 30 minutes. We had to spray every 30 minutes, even when I was sleeping. And when the alarm went off, I would just be like, and go right back to sleep, right? So I thank God that I did that here because I had the best care in the world. My mom, she's medicine all on its own. Redempta, thank you for all the good meals on my bedside. My dad and his stories, that would make me laugh. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to be laughing right now. But that kept the joy going. Just everyone around me. If I was in the US, it's very lonely in that sense that you don't have my children. Everybody works all day. They can't just take off, and not like here you could tell your job, hey, I need these days for my family, and there's a little bit more consideration. So I was in the best care. I think my recovery was like this, you know. By day 5, they say don't go outside. Sister girl went outside. I did. I just walked to I'm always pushing the limits. Yes, I do know that. But I just walked outside to feel the sun. I needed that vitamin D just to hit me, directly on my skin. So I went out and for like 5 minutes, and then I came back. But by then I wasn't. Yeah, it was just lovely. I was sleeping on the couch, on the chair, anywhere. I was actually sleeping a lot like this, with the pillow on my neck and just sleeping like that, so it's uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable the first couple of days. The pills, I'm not a pill taker, so that was really hard also. Gagging, trying to keep it down, trying to find smoothies. There's actually some pills I know. I confessed to them I didn't take all those pills. They were shocked. They were like, oh my God. And I'm like, hey, no, I did not take all of them. When my body got to a point where it was like, then they were like, please take them. Just go ahead and could finish that whole cycle. I started putting them in blenders and things like that so that I could mix them up with other things, because it just got to a point where even putting it to my mouth, I was gagging without it even being in my mouth. Again, I'm into holistic healing, and pills are not part of that, right? So yeah, I would say thank God for that. And so 7 days after, I had to go back for a checkup, follow-up, that's what they call it. Things seemed to be good, and that's when they did the PRP again. And after that, I was good to go home. So I had like maybe about 4 more days left being here in Kenya after the checkup. So all of this was scheduled before I even came, so that we know what are we doing on this day, etc. On the day I was leaving, I woke up that morning. My brother had told me he's getting a haircut with his barber, and his barber does like house calls sometimes. So I called him. I said, come to Studio 28, because that's where he usually gets. So that morning he cut my brother's hair, and then I told my brother, ask him to come just to shape me up, because the way, I'm sure they might see these photos later, when I was I was left, and this is no offense to the Pokot women at all, but I was left looking like a Pokot woman, right? Just a few locks over here, and they're telling me, leave it, let it grow out. I was like, I need to feel confident. This does not scream confident right now, I wore it for a while. I went to Mayungu, to the beach. That's my other healing place. I love to go into the ocean. After they said that I could, I went right to the ocean and dipped myself for the true healing. I'll thank you for your medicine, but I'm going to God's medicine. I believe that ocean has intense healing powers. At least it has always been for me, since my father told me that. Maybe it's because I believe what he tells me, but he and I really have a strong connection to the ocean. So yeah, I went, dipped myself in the ocean. That was the first time I removed my head wrap. I let my friends see me as I was. I could see people I didn't say anything to anyone. Again, the only people who knew that I had that hair transplant were my parents at that time, right? Just anyone in that household. And then now when I started going out, people are now finding out, like, what? My girlfriend, we traveled to Mayungu. She didn't know until we were in the room. She was like, in the apartment where we were staying. She was like, what happened? I said, I did a hair transplant. She was like, well, good on you. That's all she said. I thought all the things that I thought she was going to say, she just congratulated me. And I was like, okay, thank you. Thanks, sis. She's also a hairstylist, but she likes doing the pressing. And then she says what I do takes too long. She doesn't have patience for that. But So it was good to hear that from a colleague. We went into the ocean together with my nieces and nephew, took a boat, jumped in. I just got to swim and float and dip myself. But first, when I got into the ocean, the burning sensation hit. But then after that, I it was like nothing. Went back home, rinsed out, went back to the treatment that I was given, just went on with that process. Um, yeah, it was incredible. I just thank God for being home, during that time, the timing, because time is not promised. Um, and the timing that, you know, my parents just witnessing all of that, it was like a rebirth, you know. My father, when I cut my hair off that morning, in fact, Studio 28 didn't even know, my team didn't even know, no one knew, again, nobody knew that I was going to be cutting my hair. Even the barber, when he showed up, he started shaping to the side. I was like, Toyote, take it all off. He was like, are you sure? I was like, oh, I'm positive. Take it all off.